It's not perfect by no stretch of the imagination, but I love it.
Better than this.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am your host, Mike Fury, and I make informative videos just like this one. So please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. And boy, oh boy, has this been a long time coming. Holy crap. What an endeavor. Life got in the way, you guys, so I do have to apologize. But as per usual, we are back in action. This is my complete review for Greedfall, the Gold Edition.
It is said our people lived peacefully until the men appeared from the sea, intent on making our lands their own.
Get ready! Ahoy!
The Renaigse. They take our people. They destroy our island. It is not peace that we want. It is that you leave us.
Beasts came out of the woods.
Let's show them what gods are made of!
The political and religious impact of these discoveries will be unprecedented.
I thought you were different because you are an Unknown Manawi. But your heart is the heart of a Renaigse.
Raised under colonist, likeness of a native, taught the values of both war and diplomacy, sent to an island on the brink of civil war. You are the last lord or lady Desade. Grow with the natives, build with the Bridge Alliance, bathe in the lights of the Teleme, or make friends of those who worship the coin and sea. Peace is key for our congregation. Law and order keeps the gold flowing. War brings chaos and strife. But more importantly, the dead do not pay goods. So what will it be? Will you find common ground? Or will the flags of war rise on this godforsaken island? That is, if the Malachor doesn't get us first. This is Greedfall, and the story and lore of Greedfall are definitely a highlight. When anybody says, hey, this game is Mass Effect or BioWare-esque, yes, this is correct. In terms of scope, in terms of the styling of it, the interactions, the companion focus, in terms of a lot of the simple details and just the way that you gather information either through the world or through dialogue, it is very much BioWare-esque or vintage BioWare-esque. And I was fully invested and I absolutely enjoyed my 50 plus hours in the game.
They left for Didekiden Nadagais only a few hours ago.
Oh no. We need to catch up with them and avoid the shedding of blood. Please, haste.
Very well then, let's be off.
Bad. Now I've split bad into two separate categories. Annoyances are things that really aren't gonna break your experience, but they're troublesome, especially while you're going through them. Number one, lip sync, if you can tell, sometimes is a bit off. You can still to this day, and this is the Gold Edition we're talking about, fully patched. Still a bit off sometimes. You have a slight stutter after you exit out of buildings, which at least I, in my personal experience, was experiencing. You have unreachable loot on a couple of occasions. I had loot that I cannot pick up or I cannot interact with, which was astonishing for me. The fast travel system is a complete chore. I wish they would revamp that. You have to literally travel to exits to be able to fast travel, which is, in my personal opinion, kind of whack. Backtracking galore, repeat dialogue. You have the game having assets not load, which is incredible to me. And of course, you have a few crashes, and an overall issue with it is the lack of polish, and the game is too easy. Those are all annoyances. Even in hard mode, those are all annoyances. Not something that is going to break your experience, but something that will affect you in a minor way. Now let's talk about the problems. Stealth is completely bad. It is terrible. It is one of the worst stealth systems I have ever encountered. I do not like it whatsoever. Enemies, they're on a leash. So this happens often where the battle organically moves from one location to like a few feet away, or like, you know, let's say at 20 feet away, and they will get tethered back to the location that they were originally in, thus giving them full health again. After you just sustain damage, after you just fought them for a little bit, they literally stop fighting and gain more health and then start the battle all over again when you move back to the location that they were in. I thought that was a huge issue. And you have interiors looking exactly the same. Every single hut looks like it's designed exactly the same, with the same spots where you can find loot. Every single capitol building of every single city looks exactly the same. You can literally find paintings, like the same paintings in the same building. Like, wow, they must really like this drawing. Like, it does show its budgeted nature. On top of that, I do believe that the game suffers from problems of Dragon Age and Dragon's Dogma with enemy locations and just the way that the enemies work. I think that it borrows some of that. Those are more or less problems, for me at least, that I was experiencing. Now, if you can legit handle all of that, if you can take that in stride, you'll be glad you stuck around.
I'm not here to kill you.
Tell me then, what is your intended purpose?
We were sent to look for you.
Apologies, but allow me to express my doubts.
Well, after this little swim, you could always try to pull the trigger.
Graphically, Greedfall looks good. Overall, this colonial island setting for me is it. I love the fact that it has so many separate locations and they just seem to blend in well with each other. The towns, the forests, the hills, the caves, the rivers, swamps, everything from tribal statues and actual like idols and like painting drawings and all of that. It reminds me a lot of Dominican Republic, which also has preserved colonial landmarks, but it remains mostly underdeveloped, just like the actual island of Tirfidi itself. I love it completely. The characters, enemies, and customization and design, although it is limited, looks good as well. The different types of unique flair to each and every single outfit I thought was pretty awesome. Like I said, it is limited. You won't have that many choices, but as you progress throughout the game, you unlock more stylish approaches, more armors that look very cool. At least for the setting, they are like, you know, based off of, like, if you go with the knots, you'll get more sailor-esque piratey outfits. If you go with the tribes, you'll get more indigenous, more native outfits and things of that nature, and so on and so forth. And then you get into some of the more minute details, some of the more simpler things like the magic and attack animations. They're solid. The equipment and weapons, like I was mentioning, at least the guns and the swords and the knives and things of that nature, they look good for the most part and have a lot of great details. And the lighting can be amazing at some points. Like the day and night cycle can make the game look so good. And it actually has pretty cool cutscenes. Like, I was not expecting that for a AA title. Some of these cutscenes are legit.
The game is over for you, Commander.
There are some slight hiccups here and there, like you will find some repeat character models, but other than that, yeah, the game looks pretty darn good.
I beg of you, help me.
Still you dare to breathe. How can you hope that I am here to save you?
No,
What have you done with my mother?
pity, I beg of you. I don't want to die.
Then answer!
Siora. Stop. Look at yourself. You're acting like a beast.
Now let's jump right into the audio department. Sound-wise, it's pretty good. Voice acting is good. All things considered, it is that old colonial English. If you're not a big fan of games like The Witcher and Skyrim, you know, kind of like that English that is almost like it's broken, but not really up to modern standards. It's not broken, but you know, it's serviceable if somebody talked to you like that, like right now. If you're not a fan of that, you might have an issue with it, but other than that, it's actually pretty cool. And on top of that, there's a variety of other languages that you will listen to in the game, which I thought was pretty cool. The soundtrack itself is actually pretty good and gives me that sense of adventure that I really liked. And having that mix in with the setting really gave me that moment of, holy crap, this is a brand new IP, a brand new adventure to behold, a brand new island with a bunch of different details that I've never experienced in another game. It really gave me that sense of adventure, and I really dig it for that. Now, the special effects will get repetitive, but the environmental audio is so good and does a good job of immersing you that you won't mind the special effects, like your 5,000th magic missile going out and your shadow blast attack and your gun going off, your blunderbuss and things of that nature. The guns do sound good, by the way, as well. The only two things that I can possibly say about the audio are these two things right here. Number one, this game does a terrible job of maintaining enemies a secret because the audio will cue the music, the combat music, before you notice that the enemies are even around you, basically warning you, hey, they are people around you. That has to be fixed for Greedfall 2. And then secondly, your companions tell you what to do way too much. This is another Dragon's Dogma issue. These dudes won't shut up. You know how many times I heard Vasco tell me he's gonna put poison on his blade?
A bit of poison on my blade.
Lord have mercy. Or somebody like from the left, they're fighting 3 people, but they have enough time to let me know, hey, you should drink a potion because you happen to be out of magic. Yeah.
Potion if you want to cast more spells.
No magic. Drink the potion.
Yes, I know. I'm drinking one right now. Thank you very much. But apart from that, like I said, the audio is pretty good. Gameplay. After creating your Desade, you will decide your skills, attributes, and talents. Skills decide your combat discipline, warrior, rogue, or mage. Attributes are your physical, mental, and internal capabilities like strength, endurance, mental, and willpower. And then talents will cover your external capabilities like charisma, science, lockpicking, things of that nature. You will fight, explore, and complete quests, and you will grow in these fields. But the beauty of Greedfall is the fact that there's actually 2 games being played. The first is an action RPG where we will go out, fight dangerous creatures, complete quests for important individuals, fighting fanatics, religious zealots, the dark forest spirits, and all of that great action RPG jazz. You will do all of this with your trusted companions as you will loot your way across the whole entire island, either using the awesome legendary weapons and armors and using the tactical mode to really plan out your attacks, or simply just play it as a hack and slash and combine your techniques all together. Like I said, it is an RPG, it's an action RPG in the vein of BioWare. You should know this by now. It's gonna feel a little bit like a Dragon Age. The second game being played is the best kind when done correctly, and it is done correctly in Greedfall. Let me take you guys back to a little moment in Dragon Age, and it's not a little moment, it's actually a pretty epic moment. In Dragon Age Inquisition, you have this moment where you're actually allowed to participate in the political game. And that is the highest form of almost like Game of Thrones, if you will. You are in this town hall and you're allowed to talk to political figures, give advice to nobles, dance with the queen, and it has that really nice condensed moment of the game being played, and it's all vying for power and making relationships, and it is so good. Now imagine that, and it's all in Greedfall in a more budgeted fashion, and those choices and consequences are nailed by the importance of the lore, and it all has a point. It all fits well, so your choices have weight to them. Greedfall nails all of this. Add to that meaningful side quests, you have companion quests, you have boss battles, and even more RPG staples like crafting, collectibles, and things of that nature. The combat isn't perfect. Enemies' AI is weak. Stuff is borderline broken. I've already said this. It does have some jank here and there. You will encounter that, and it will drive you insane running through areas that are repopulated with the same enemy types, but like I said, it is still fun. And it is fun from the combat gameplay, and it's fun on the great political gameplay that is being played in the game. I love it. I enjoyed it. This is what makes Greedfall a great game and gives it a great game loop throughout the whole entire more or less 30-hour campaign. DLC. Weirdly enough, the pre-order bonus pack, which is basically the adventurer's gear, is not part of the Gold Edition. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, it's only $3, but I thought that they should have put it in there. Now, it does come with a sweet gun and a sweet sword that kind of give you an advantage early on in the game, but like I mentioned earlier, this game is pretty darn easy. And in itself, unless you don't want to invest in intuition, the armor that it gives you is really just another piece of armor, an early game armor. Doesn't really level up with you or anything like that. But yeah, those are the two things that come with the adventure pack. Now, the D conspiracy. No, I'm playing. I think it's pronounced the Vesper or the Vespe. Conspiracy is short and sweet, 2.5 hours worth of more of the same. Good lore, good gameplay, brand new enemies, a couple of new ideas thrown here and there, but other than that, it's more or less what we have experienced with the original gameplay in Greedfall. In conclusion, Greedfall is a game with a lot of issues, some of them due to the budget, some of them due to decisions. But if you're willing to look past all of it, in the core of this game, you will find a great world, you will find great political intrigue, you will find good gameplay, great choice and consequence, multiple endings, great companions, and have a great time, and get yourself excited for Greedfall 2: The Dying World, which is a prequel sequel, by the way. The final score for Greedfall is a 7.5 out of 10. I give it my furious recommendation. So let's go ahead and answer the 3 questions, shall we? Is it fun? Is it worth it? And is it for you? Is it fun? Yes, it is fun. Are there some issues? Absolutely. But is it fun in its entirety? Yes. Throughout a 30-hour experience, if you want to kind of explore a lot and do some of the extra missions, that there are some extra missions throughout the game that you could do that they're nonsense, you could do that and actually push it to that 40-hour mark, if you will, or do all the companion quests. Yeah, that'll definitely push it around that area. I think if I'm not mistaken, I ended it while doing everything was like around 50 hours. But yeah, definitely get your money's worth throughout the whole entire experience. You can also find this extremely cheap. So let's talk about, is it worth it? Greedfall was given on PSN, it was on Game Pass. Greedfall has been absolutely everywhere. I think they even gave it on Epic as well. If you haven't played it, you can actually find this like around $10, and the Gold Edition could be found under $20. If you really want to play throughout this whole entire beast, yes, a 40-hour beast. Yeah, I still count that as beast. That's a lot of hours. That's 2 days almost. So definitely you can find it extremely cheap. Buy it on sale for sure. And finally, is it for you? Are you a fan of BioWare? Are you a fan of action RPGs? The new Flintlock game looks like something like, if you're excited for that, you might want to try this before you go ahead and jump into that. There's a lot of other titles that will give you a vibe similar to this. So you can go ahead and jump on to like Dragon Age 2, try out Dragon Age Inquisition that has a lot of that political intrigue. But like I said, this is a very cool AA title that should be any type of action RPG or choice-based consequence lover would absolutely enjoy. And that is it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know, have you played Greedfall? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And you can support the channel in any way, shape, or form possible. That's either the Amazon link or the Epic Creator Code if you want to buy the game. The links are down in the description below as well. You could also support me either via Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Links are down in the description below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting me there. $1 a day keeps you in a little way. I'm your host, Mike Fear. It's been a complete pleasure. Until next time, Mike, off.